Hey, let's talk a little bit about the gClass system that we're going to use to run Information 101. gClass is a web information system, and as you go through the class, you're going to learn lots and lots about web information systems, but suffice it to say for right now that it's our class system. It's the system that's going to run our course. What does it do? Well, it delivers the course content. You'll watch a lot of videos and read a lot of text in this course, and all that is managed by the gClass system. It's a way to do evaluations, all the fill-ins that you do that test your understanding of the lectures, as well as the level-up quizzes that you do. That's all administered through gClass. For us, it's a way to record and organize your progress. So as you move through the subject matter of the course, we record it all. We record all the entries that you've made into the gClass system and what the status of every module is, and it gives us a way, and you a way, also to organize everything that you've done so far in the class and see where you are. And in a more general sense, gClass is the first version of a long-term project that we have going in how to gamify education. In other words, how to turn the educational experience into something that uses more of a game metaphor than the traditional lecture metaphor in order to give you in order to help you learn. All right, so let's start on the main screen. You'll come to the screen after you log into the gClass system. And there's a couple of things I want you to notice right off the bat. The first one is that we have three big subjects: info issues, social issues, and tech issues. And those are listed right across the top. All the subject matter in the gClass system is broken into those three areas. Within each of those areas, info, social, and tech, we have modules. Each of these little cards that you see is a module. And as you move through the course, you'll be doing more and more modules. And as you move through the module, you'll see that this card updates to show you where you are in that module. So how do you move through a module? You move through a module first by doing the lectures, which are videos in the module. Then, after having watched the videos, you do fill-ins. Or actually, I would propose that you do the fill-ins as you watch the videos. The fill-ins are sort of a transcript of what you see in the video, and gives you a place to test: did you understand and did you hear what was talked about in the video? So you go through the lectures and fill-ins. Then when you're ready and you've filled in all your fill-ins, you're ready to do a quiz. You do a quiz, and that quiz levels you up. So you can see we're already starting to use the terminology of gaming in this course. You level up, and the first way to level up is through taking a level up quiz. You finish with the quiz. You can, if you choose, do an assignment in that module. You don't have to do an assignment in every module, but you can choose to do an assignment, and I'll walk you through how that works. And you may also be called upon, and in fact it's very likely that you will be called upon, to review other people's assignments in that same module. So this is the way it works. You go module by module, and in each module, these are all the steps. Watch the videos, do the fill-ins, take a quiz. That's for sure that you'll do that in the module. And you might choose to do an assignment there, and it's very likely that you'll be assigned to do a review of someone else's work inside that module. Now let's walk step by step through what you do to complete each module. So here I have the card. I've zoomed in on one of the cards that's on that main screen of the gClass application, and this one's called Computer Technology Basics. And we're right at the beginning. So nothing has happened yet, and we have a blue button at the bottom of the card that says Watch Videos. That's the first thing that you do. You do the videos and the fill-ins. And as I said, you do them pretty much simultaneously. So you click that button, Watch Videos, and then you come to a screen that looks like this. Let's talk a little bit about the structure of the screen, and then I'll talk about how you use this screen. First of all, up at the top, you see the subject. We're in the information subject, and you see the module. We're in the websites and other information channels module. And then under that, you see topics. The topics break the module down into smaller chunks, so that's a little bit easier to see what's in the module. But what you really do is inside each module, you watch a series of videos, and for each video, there's a set of fill-ins that you do. So you can see up there, right in that little area where all of those blue boxes are, that's your orientation. That tells you where you are in the system. We're in the information subject, in the module called Websites and Other Information Channels. We're in the topic called What is a Website? And we're really on video one of 6. And you can see those 6 little boxes there. Those boxes will update as you do things. As you fill in all the fill-ins, and they're all correct, you'll get a little check mark there. If you fill in some of them and they're wrong, you'll get a little red X. If there's nothing in there, you'll see the box in the state that it is in right now. Okay, so I think I don't have to say much about how you use the video. This is a standard YouTube video just embedded in our page. You click the big button and it'll start to play. Now, let's look a little bit at the fill-in area. So watching the video is pretty straightforward. What happens in the fill-in area? Well, if you fill in one of those boxes with a correct answer, you see you get the little green check, and that one's all taken care of. If you put the wrong answer in there, you get a red X and the box is red. So it should be pretty clear where you're at with the right and the wrong answers. One other thing to notice in this area is a little exclamation point. If you have an exclamation point in a sentence, that means that that sentence contains a vocabulary word. In this case, the vocabulary word is website. A website is information on the web that's more closely associated with itself than other information on the web. That's our definition of a website. And because it has that little exclamation point, you know that it's more important than your average fill-in, and in fact, it may appear later on the Level Up quiz. Okay, so you've made some fill-ins. There are two other things you need to know about this screen. This one is very important, submit your answers. So as you type in answers, when you hit submit answers, it'll actually bring them back to the system and tell you whether you got them right or wrong. Let's contrast that with this button here, which takes you to the next video. If I click the next video button without clicking the submit answers button, I'm going to go to the next video, but I won't have submitted my answers. So please remember to always hit submit answers before you hit the next video button. No big deal if you don't. You'll come back, they'll be empty again, and you'll just fill them in again. It's really not that hard if you make the mistake, so it's not a big mistake. Okay, so let's review videos and fill-ins and fill in any of the information that I might have missed saying. Videos are on YouTube, as I mentioned. They're usually around the 5-minute range. They go between less than a minute and a maximum of 8 or 9 minutes, but most of them are in the 5 minute and under range. I film them all over the world, and so you'll see as you go along, the videos are from all different places. I'm always updating and recording them, so if you have any feedback for me about the quality or the understandability of the videos, please let me know. So the fill-ins, some things you need to know. You can fill them in as many times as you want. They use a drop-down list. I didn't illustrate that in the last image, but you'll see as you use the system that as you start typing, the list scrolls to the things that you typed. Use that drop-down list to your advantage. Don't try to just type something in. Type in a few letters and see what choices it gives you. And if none of those choices seem right, back up and try another set of letters. So those drop-down lists are really there to help you. It's not a fill in the blank with no prompt. There's a big prompt on there, and if you know how to use that prompt correctly, you'll get a lot of help in filling in those fill-ins. If you find fill-ins that don't work for you, or for some reason you think there's no way I could possibly get this answer, let one of us know, and we'll check that out for you. Okay, so we talked about vocabulary words, and the vocabulary words have the little exclamation point on them. And if they have an exclamation point on them, that means they can appear on Level Up quizzes, and so you should pay extra attention to them. And as I said, pay attention to the submit button versus the next video button. The submit button logs your answers. The next video button takes you to the next video without logging your answers. Step 1 is to watch the videos and do the fill-ins. Step 2 is to level up. When you've filled in all your fill-ins, they don't all have to be correct, but they do all have to have something in them. When they're all filled up and you have something in every fill-in, then you can schedule a Level Up quiz. The Level Up quiz is the comprehensive quiz for that module. Let's take a look at how it works. So when you have all your fill-ins filled in, your card on the home page of the gClass site, the blue button will update to say Schedule a Quiz. So you've done all your fill-ins and you're ready to schedule your quiz. You click the Schedule a Quiz button and you're taken to a review page. The review page really gives you exactly the same information as all of those lecture pages or the video pages, but it gives it to you in a summary way so that you can study for your quiz. The point of this page is to study for the quiz, even to the point of having sample questions. So you can see down at the bottom of this image that there's a sample question, and these are real questions that are in the pool of questions that might show up on your quiz. So it's worth your while to look at this page and use it to study. Notice also that the vocabulary words are marked on this page with the same exclamation points. The wrong and the right answers are also marked on this page. And it uses a little accordion expand and contract thing. Anytime you see a little plus minus button in the application in gClass, you know that you can click on it and you can expand and contract something. So this is the module, Websites and Other Info Channels. It's the Sites and Books lecture inside topic 1. I can compress topic 1 to see topic 2. I can compress lecture 1 to see lecture 2, 3, and 4, or I can open up any of those other lectures. Those are all the things that you can do on this page. So I click schedule a quiz. I come to this study page when I feel confident that I'm ready to take the quiz at the next small session. I click schedule a level up quiz. Then the application schedules your quiz. In this case, the quiz was scheduled for the 24th at 3:30 p.m. And at that time in your lab session, you could begin the quiz. In the small session of the class, you could begin the quiz. That's where our quizzes are all going to occur inside your small class meeting. Okay, so now you're done with that, and you can go on and do other work in the system. Whatever else you have to do in the system, you can continue on, knowing that you have a quiz scheduled for that time, and at that time, you'll be able to take the quiz. Okay, when you go back to your home page, notice that the button changes from schedule a quiz to study for your quiz, and if you click on that button, you'll go back to the study page and you can continue your studying. So the way you should do this is when you think that you're going to be ready by the next small session, click the schedule button and then continue your studying. So don't feel like you have to be ready to take the quiz at that moment before you click schedule a quiz. Feel that you're going to be ready to take the quiz at the time it's going to schedule you for it. And very likely, unless there's a lot of people that have already scheduled, well, actually, no, for as long as you haven't scheduled a lot of other quizzes, your quiz is going to be scheduled pretty much for the next small session. Okay, so there are more modules in the gClass system than there's time for you to do them. In order to keep up with the class, do 2 quizzes per week. That will give you 18 quizzes by the end of the quarter. If you've done 18 quizzes by the end of the quarter, you're right up there with the class. However, there are more than 18 quizzes to be done. There are more than 18 modules in the system. So if you choose, you can do extra content, and that will give you extra credit at the end of the quarter. However, to stay on track, make sure that you schedule 2 quizzes per week. The first week is a bye, so that's why there's 18. 2 quizzes times the 9 additional weeks in the quarter gives us 18 quizzes by the end of the quarter. Do 2 modules a week, schedule 2 quizzes per week, and you'll be right on track. So you've got your quiz scheduled, and then you show up at your small class session, and your teaching assistant will turn on the quiz. So the teaching assistant turns on the quiz for the entire class, and when they do, they've changed something inside the system. But you may be sitting there with your gClass system open on your desktop, and nothing happens. If that's the case, click the Sync Up button. What the Sync Up button, and I've got it circled here on the screen, it always makes sure that you're up to date with the latest things that have happened inside the system. Generally speaking, you don't have to click it. Generally speaking, when something new happens and you click something else, it automatically syncs you up. But in some cases, you have to click the Sync Up button. So the way that I would look at that Sync Up button is, can't hurt you. When in doubt, click Sync Up and see if that gets you to the place you need to be in the application. In any case, you're sitting there in front of the class, and the TA says, "Okay, your quiz is on." You click the Sync Up button in order to sync up with the fact that they just turned the quiz on. And when you do, you'll notice that your card changes. And instead of saying "Study for your quiz," now it says "Take your quiz." And you click the blue button that says "Take your quiz," and you go to the first question of the quiz. Of course, this one says question 4, but imagine that it's saying question 1. Notice this is a fill-in question. We have 2 kinds of questions. We have multiple choice questions and fill-in questions. The fill-in questions come from where? Do you remember? The fill-in questions come from the vocabulary words. So there's nothing new in the fill-in questions. Okay, so here's a fill-in question. I type in the fill-in. This time I don't get the aid, however, of the drop-down box. I have to remember. So it's worth your while to study those fill-ins and study them so that you can explicitly answer the question with the capitalization and any punctuation and anything that you need. So make sure that when you study for these, you study the answers very explicitly and you know exactly what goes in there. Then you click Submit Your Answer, and it goes on to the next question. Oh, here's question 1. And this is an example of a multiple choice question. These, by the way, are actual questions, so if you memorize these, you'll know one question that might possibly come up in your exams. Okay, so this is a multiple choice question. You choose the answer that you want. You choose Submit Answer, and then you go through the 10 questions of the quiz. Now, I might change it from 10 to something else, but you go through all the questions of the quiz. When you're finished, you come to a screen like this. I finished all my questions. Now, it may be the case, I hope it isn't, but it may be the case that you run out of time before you finish, and if you do, the next time you click Submit Answer, you'll go to the same screen. and it tells you what happened. You got 1 right and 9 wrong. This won't be you. This is me. I'm really bad at this stuff. So I got 1 right out of 9. And so here's my screen. I click the next button, the little blue button on the right side of the screen, and now it'll take me through a little review session that says, what did you say? What was the right answer? And if necessary, what's the key to the question? How do you understand the question? Okay, so this is how quizzes go. I say, take my quiz. I go through all the questions of the quiz. When I'm finished at the last question, it gives me a summary. And then as I move forward, it gives me all the remediation, all the explanation for the questions that I've gotten wrong. Okay, so let's review quizzes, and I'll talk about a little bit some other things that I hadn't mentioned in the screens. So there's 1 quiz per module, and the way the quiz is decided is, suppose in that module there are 20 multiple choice questions in the module, and there are 20 fill-ins. That's a pool of 20 multiple choice questions and 20 vocabulary words. That's a pool of 40 questions. From that pool of 40 questions, you'll just get 10, and it's a random selection of those 10 questions. So you're not guaranteed to have any particular question, but any question that you see might certainly be on your quiz, so it's worthwhile to pay attention to questions that you see as sample questions, for example, in the study page. Okay, so from the whole pool of questions, your quiz is a random selection of those questions, and it's a selection of multiple choice and vocabulary.